Hey guys, what's happening? This is Divyansh and a very warm welcome to all of you to the United Talk. Manchester United has defeated Brighton by 3 goals to nil, thanks to goal from Mason Greenwood, the youngster, and 2 goals from Bruno Fernandes. What this means is United extend their unbeaten run to 15 games, winning 11 of them, and in the process scoring 38 goals and only conceding 4. What this means for United is that if they continue to do so, if they maintain this form, this consistency over the next 6 or 7 games, United will get into top 4. However, it's easier said than done. But let's talk about the Brighton game for a second and what are the 5 things that we have learned from United's victory over Brighton and Hove Albion. For the first time since Sir Alex Ferguson retired, the United first 11 is actually looking like a first 11, the team that can actually defeat any team on its day, any team in the world. I mean, this is the team that other teams should actually fear because this team has creativity, strength, pace, can be narrow and compact while defending, and this team can actually give you nightmares. So for the first time, the first 11 of Manchester United can actually pick itself because this is looking like the team that we need going forward in order to be where we need to be, which is on the top. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been picking the right team, and this right team has been delivering results day by day, game by game. Now, much of it can be actually given to Bruno Fernandes. Now, Bruno Fernandes has come into an average team and made that average team into a very good team. Paul Pogba has come into a very good team and actually made it a world-class team on its day. Because with the inclusion of Paul Pogba, we get something that we don't get from either McTominay or Fred, which is creativity from deep places, from deep lying positions. So this team is looking like the team that can actually go to places if Paul Pogba does end up staying at Manchester United. But for now, I think there's exciting times ahead for Manchester United. While the first team is looking like the team to beat now after the lockdown, the problem is with the squad. United have a big squad. They have about 28 to 30 players in the squad itself. But all these players after the first 11 are kind of useless because you saw against Norwich City what happened when Ole made eight changes, and you actually saw what happened against Brighton as well because after Ole took out Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes, the replacements were not that great. I mean, for any team to win titles, for any team to have any kind of consistency, you need good bench strength. You need good players replacing good players from the bench, and that's what United don't have right now. And that's why this summer the inclusion of Jadon Sancho and the inclusion of someone like a Jack Grealish or a Donny van de Beek, whoever it is, becomes very very important for Manchester United going forward. Because with these players, you can imagine the depth that we will have even on the bench. Imagine if we are able to buy both Jadon Sancho and Jack Grealish. If you take that hypothetical situation, our first 11 could be David De Gea, Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof, Van Bissaka, Nemanja Matic, Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford, and Jadon Sancho. Now, with this first 11 that can defeat any team in the world again, look at the bench strength that we might have. In goal, we can have Sergio Romero. In defense, we can have players like Brendan Williams, Axel Tuanzebe, and Eric Bailly. In midfield, we can have good replacements in the form of McTominay, Fred, and Jack Grealish. And in the striking positions, we can have players like Daniel James who can come in and impact the game as a substitute. Mason Greenwood and Odion Ighalo. So you're talking about 3 players in attack, 3 players in midfield, and 3 players in defense who can all actually come in and do a job for Manchester United wherever required, whenever required. So that's what I'm talking about when I say bench strength, when I talk about squad depth. That's the depth that we need, and by the inclusion of these 2 players, we can actually take big steps towards the future, big steps towards getting to be where we need to be, that is on the top. David De Gea has come under scrutiny in the past and recently as well over the mistakes and the errors that has led to United conceding a lot of goals and dropping a lot of points. The thing is, if you look at the Brighton games, David De Gea did not do anything for 60 minutes. So the first 60 minutes he could actually take out a newspaper and read the entire newspaper because he had nothing to do in the first half. But as soon as Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba were taken off, you could see Brighton becoming a good team. You could see Brighton actually trying to attack Manchester United and taking the game to them. In that situation, when the goalkeeper has not done anything for 60 minutes, for David De Gea to make 2 great saves speaks volumes. And what means is basically David De Gea is a world-class goalkeeper now. The form of David De Gea is questionable because he had made some errors in the past. But like everybody says, form is temporary, class is permanent. Dean Henderson can be the perfect replacement for David De Gea, but I think next season could come too early for Dean Henderson, because there's one thing to go in Sheffield United and actually perform there as a number one goalkeeper, but to be the best goalkeeper at Manchester United, it's a different ask because there's too much pressure on you. So I think it's Dean Henderson is better off going to Sheffield United or some other team to play first team football next season on loan as well. While David De Gea, for sure, according to me, should still be United's number one goalkeeper. I thought Nemanja Matic was actually gone. He was done. I thought Matic was playing so poor that he did not even deserve to be in the squad. And that's the time I'm talking about, is basically between August, September and Christmas. Because Nemanja Matic did not do anything great in that time, and he looked slow, he looked old, he looked like he had lost a pace. And I was very critical of Nemanja Matic since the starting of the season. However, I'm right here today to actually accept my mistake, because Nemanja Matic has come from January and he has changed everything. He has become that perfect central defensive midfielder that we all thought he could be when he first arrived from Chelsea. I thought because of his age he's actually lost his pace and his touch, and he did. He had done that. He had lost his pace. He had lost his confidence. He was not playing well. But since January, credit given where credit is due. Since January, Nemanja Matic has actually played really well. He's made the position on his own. And when you look at McTominay and Fred playing in that position, you instantly realize how important Nemanja Matic is in that position. For instance, if you look at the third goal scored by Manchester United against Brighton, it started with Nemanja Matic giving that superb pass to Mason Greenwood, who then crossed Bruno Fernandes and he scored on the fast break. But Nemanja Matic in that central defensive area, in the midfield area, not only breaks down the play but also makes sure that the ball is actually travelling forwards. And that's the impact you need a defensive midfielder to have. So Matic, it looks like, has one more year left in his legs to actually give to Manchester United or any top team. If McTominay and Fred are to be the long-term successors of Nemanja Matic, if Ole is not looking to buy a central defensive midfielder, and we know that he's not in the market for a CDM this summer at least, McTominay and Fred have a chance to learn a lot from Nemanja Matic, and I would be looking forward to see how Fred and McTominay do in case Nemanja Matic doesn't play. The last thing to be noted here today is about the fact that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, while he is still a naive manager, a young manager, he is learning. You saw when Ole first came to the club and there was an unbeaten run of 11, 12 games, like the PSG game being the best game out of the lot. But since then, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made a lot of mistakes, and you could see that. You could see that because he was a young manager, naive manager, inexperienced manager, and you expect them to actually make mistakes. We all do. But I was always behind Ole because I thought he was doing the right things. He got rid of the deadwood from the club. He gave youth promotion, a chance, Angel Gomez being the only exception, sadly. And that youth has actually performed. And you look at the players that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has transformed in his tenure at Manchester United in 1.5 years. It's actually brilliant. So I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, whether he will be the right man for United in the future or not, it's still up for debate. But as of now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a manager is actually, he knows what his first 11 is. He's picking his first 11. He's actually making the team play well. And he's actually getting the right players to the club. You are getting linked with the right players to the club. You are not being linked with stupid players. You are linked with players who we actually need. Players like Jadon Sancho, who can drastically improve us. World-class players. Players like Jack Grealish, Donny van de Beek. Whether it's a PR spin or not, I don't know. But as of now, the players look happy. The fans are happy. The mood inside and outside the club is happy. And that's, for me, down to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Let me know what you think of the video, guys. For me, my man of the match in the Brighton game was Nemanja Matic, but you can also pick Mason Greenwood for his performance. You can also pick Bruno Fernandes for his performance, and that's the best thing about it. When you start arguing about who should be the man of the match for a particular game from Manchester United, that's when you know that the team is taking the steps in the right direction. Let me know what do you think of the match, guys. What do you think of the video? Smash a like on the video if you like it. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you for the Bournemouth game.